Today, our topic is beyond new tech. You know the story, right? There's a problem on your team, so you go out and buy some shiny new tool to fix it. And we all kind of pat ourselves on the back thinking, job well done. But what if I told you that the real work, the part that actually determines if you succeed or fail, has almost nothing to do with the technology itself? So let's just get real for a second. When you roll out that new technology, are you actually setting your team up for a win? Or, and this is the tough part, are you maybe, just maybe, setting them up for a failure without even knowing it? It's a critical question we've got to ask. So, okay, here's how this whole dilemma usually kicks off. It's a scene we've all seen play out. Some exec in your team spots a problem, right? Maybe customer service is low, supply chain's a total mess, and boom, the order comes down from high. We need this to be fixed. We need it to change. And that's where the journey starts. And almost right away, what happens? The conversation rockets straight to the technology. Who are the vendors? What are all the features we need? What are the functions it must have? And look, that stuff's necessary. You have to do it. But it's exactly where the real strategic thinking seems to just stop. We get so wrapped up in what the tool can do that we totally forget to think about how our team is going to make it work in the real world. And this is why so many of these big tech rollouts just fizzle out and fail. But here's the kicker, the real twist in the story. It's almost never the technology's fault. No, real root of the failure, it's sitting much closer to home. This right here is the fundamental disconnect. On the one hand, we pour all our focus and energy onto the shiny features, the new functions of the tech. But on the other hand, the real work, the stuff that actually matters, isn't about the software at all. It's about the people, the process, and the data. It's about managing the human side of the change, because that's what it takes to make the tech sink or swim. And that leads us to one question that almost no one thinks to ask, but it's the one that changes everything. And that question is, who is actually responsible for making this change happen? I'm not talking about who signs the check for the new software. I mean, who is on the hook for making sure people actually learn it, for making sure those clunky old habits and tools that they were using get left behind. If you don't have a name on that, you're not leading the change. You're just crossing your fingers and hoping for the best. All right, so let's flip it around. Let's look at it from your team's point of view. When nobody actually owns the rollout, that shiny new tech you're so excited about doesn't land like a solution. It lands like another huge burden on them. And it doesn't take long for it to turn just into another wasted investment. I mean, let's have a little reality check here. Your team's already swamped. That's why they were having the problems in the first place. They're probably treading water or just trying to keep up with all the clunky manual stuff they're already having to do. And this is even before you drop something new on their plate. They just don't have the bandwidth for one more thing. And then you come along and you say, hey, everybody, please learn how to use this new tool. They just can't handle it, So you're going to hear that classic line. I'll try and get to that later when I can find a gap. And listen, that's not them being difficult. It's not defiance. It's pure desperation. They're literally trying to keep their heads above water with their day job. And this is where the predicted downward spiral begins. First, the team never really truly learn how to use the new tool. So what do? They go right back to the old frustrating manual way of doing things, which means, of course, that expensive new technology gives you zero return. And you're left scratching your head, trying to herd cats, and wondering why nobody's using this great new solution that you have invested so heavily in. So you have to ask yourself, is this just another wasted opportunity? Or is there something more that you can do about it? And is this the moment that you break that cycle and actually pivot to a strategy that gets results? Okay, here's the solution. And I think it's simpler than you think. It all comes down to one word, ownership. If you really want this thing to succeed, you can't just pass it off on someone else. You have to own it. So let's break down what that actually looks like. It boils down to 4 concrete steps. First, you personally own the outcome, no excuses. Second, You have to give your team the gift of time, and I mean really protected time. Block it out on their calendars for specifically learning how to use this tool. Third, you've got to lead the charge and change the old processes. You have to officially say, we don't do it that way anymore. And finally, number four, you set up a weekly feedback session. It creates a rhythm, a pulse where you can see what's working and what's not. And you know what the secret weapon is to make that all stick? It's who you invite to those weekly meetings. You can get the if you can get the executive who sponsored that whole project into that room, it changes everything. See, it then isn't just another status update. When those execs show up, it sends a crystal clear message. This matters. It's what drives real accountability and gets your team the help they need when they need it and when they hit a roadblock, because they're going to hit some. You know, at the end of the day, this whole thing's about a huge shift in how you think about it. You've got to stop looking at the vendor and expecting them to deliver the success. You have to look in the mirror and realize that success is your responsibility. I want you to really let that sink in. It is your journey of change, not the company selling you new technology. You must own it. So I'm going to leave you with one final thought to chew on. The next time you're ready to sign a contract for some new tech, stop and ask yourself this one question. Am I just buying a tool, or am I actually ready to lead a change? Because honestly, your answer to that question makes all the difference in the world. Thanks for joining us today. I really hope there's some thoughts that you can take away from this topic and apply to your business today. And if you want to learn more about how the Inventory Mentor can assist, please feel free to reach out to us.